Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular notice meeting of February 25th. The time now is 6:33. In accordance with the Senator Byron Open Public Meetings Act, we will be holding this meeting virtual. If we can have a pledge of allegiance to start the meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic for which it stands,
And
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you, everyone. Excuse me if I'm a little out of practice here. All right, can we have a call to order? Is there any sunshine announcements?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this hearing was given to the Jersey Journal, the Jersey City Reporter, and posted with the city clerk on February 19th, 2021. And once again, 2 revisions went through on February 22nd. Nothing new is added to the agenda, just some rearranging of items. And we have the notices to be marked for the record.
Okay, do we have a roll call?
LTV1 for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. Yep, I can do roll call. All right, Commissioner Arujo,
Here.
Commissioner Bakta,
Here.
Commissioner Green,
Here.
Commissioner Netchert,
Here.
Commissioner McCormick,
Here.
and Commissioner Shadid.
Here.
And Commissioner McCormick will be acting chair, and we have 6 present.
Okay, can we swear in staff, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Do. Okay, and that's 4 members.
Okay, do we have any old business?
So I will, well, I guess just correspondence. I'll just go through what we are and are not hearing tonight. I'm going to share my screen. I'll go through the agenda. That's not it. There we go. Okay, so starting with adjournments. So these are cases that are not going forward tonight, but are carried to a future date certain with preservation of notice. We added a special meeting for next Thursday, March 4th at 6:30 p.m. So these next few cases are carried to that March 4th special meeting date. That is KZ 19-103, that's 795 Secaucus. Also 319 to 321 Old Bergen Road, that case number is Z2025. Also carried to the special meeting on March 4th. Case Z2017, 67 Clifton Place, also carried to March 4th. Case Z2048, address 1041 Garfield Avenue. And case Z2078, that's 84 Ferry Street. All 5 of those cases will be on next Thursday, March 4th special meeting. These next few cases are carried to March 11th. So we got 3 meetings, 3 weeks in a row. That's our regular meeting. These are also carried with preservation of notice, starting with Z2071, that's 851 to 859 Communipaw Ave, carried to March 11th. Case Z2072, that's 869 to 877 Communipaw Ave, also carried to March 11th. Case This is an error because that's going on tonight. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, this is an older agenda. My apologies. So the case Z20-095, 847 to 849 Communipaw, that is going on tonight. My apologies. Case Z2090, 3294 JFK, carried to March 11th. Same with Z2091, 13 Boland, and 90 Webster, and 130 Summit Avenue, and 286. Those are all carried to March 11th. But lastly, case Z2047, 286 to 294 Arlington, that's carried to a date uncertain without preservation of notice. So that site plan amendment, they are going to be re-noticing for that in the future.
Lindsay, I think because you were looking at a different version of the agenda, there was also another case that was carried to March 11th.
Okay.
And that the address for that is 10 Brinkerhoff Street.
Right.
Okay, my bad. I pulled up the original agenda that was sunshined, the one that's on the data portal that's publicly accessible. That is the correct one. So
Right. So that will be carried with preservation of notice.
let me just pull the right one up to not be inaccurate. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brinkerhoff is Z19-084.
There we go. Okay, one more time. Don't worry, I'm not going to read them all again. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so after the Arlington Ave amendment, like Valerie was saying, 10 Brinkerhoff Street, KZ 1984, that is carried to the March 11th regular meeting with preservation of notice. So new business, we will be hearing, we only have 6 commissioners tonight, so we're gonna defer to the applicant's attorneys about what's going forward tonight, but what's listed for tonight is case Z2033 475 Communipal, case Z2095 847 to 849 Communipal, case Z2059, that's 387 to 391 First Street, case Z2015, that's 155 Laidlaw, and lastly case Z2084, that is the appeal for 500 Communipal Avenue. So that is what is scheduled to be heard tonight.
All right, so then we're gonna defer to the lawyers to make sure they, you know, what they want to do now, or,
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
right, Vin?
Yeah, do you want to promote them all, or should we just,
I think it might be better if we just do them all at once to find out one by one.
okay?
Sure. So I'm going to promote Stephen Joseph, Charles Harrington, and Don Pepe, and Cynthia as well. Just give me
Yeah.
1 second. Oh, I have Nick's hand up. Promote you too. And Don Pepe. Okay. I think I got everyone. Just give them a second to switch over.
Oh, there's Cynthia. Okay. So, counselors, the question becomes that we only have 6 commissioners this evening. And everyone is entitled to 7 except, I guess, 155 Laidlaw. Aside from that case, the other cases, you have a right to have 7 commissioners. There's only 6 of us here. So the question becomes, do you want to go forward, put your proofs on, and then perhaps carry the vote until we have 7? Or at your option, we could vote tonight, but there'd only be 6. So you want to think about it a moment and then let us know what you want to do when we call the case, or do you have an opinion right now?
I mean, for the record, Charles Harrington, I can speak now that we are ready to proceed on case number Z20-059. That's a continuance of a prior hearing, and as long as the commissioners that weren't present at that hearing have read the transcript, we are willing to proceed with the 6 commissioners.
Okay. Well, actually, we can get to that now, right? Because we had Commissioners Shadid and McCormick present, but the other 4 who are here, we just need you to, we usually have.
Proceeding, but
What's that? we usually have you sign something that you read the transcript. So did you read the transcript, all of you? Sonia?
Yes, I did.
I did as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And Kim? And Lucas?
I did not.
Did not. Okay, so. where
That
you-
was for First Street, 387, 391.
Correct. So. There you
Uh,
go. There you go, Mr. Harrington.
Okay.
That's a dilemma. Now you have 5.
And they're worth 5.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, can we carry that to next week? Your testimony is, you have the expert handy?
yes, we have our engineer here.
The engineer, right?
Good.
Well, we
Tough
don't,
one.
what's that?
Said it was a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were looking for, the engineer, but unfortunately, things came up.
Right, right. And he's available, but with 5, I'm not sure.
Right. Is he available next week, Chuck?
Oh,
I had it.
yeah, let's just assume that he is.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, Chuck.
So would it be better to carry that? It
Yeah,
shouldn't take long, really, as long as everybody reads the transcript. It's just a transcript question and this new expert.
Right. No, yeah, I don't think it'll be a long presentation, but I think with 5, I just like to err on the side of caution.
Right.
Maybe we can make sure that it's the first one.
Yeah. Well, next week you'll have a different 7 commissioners here.
Yeah, it's like
We'll have
every
that
week.
this configuration anyway, so let's see what happens. You wanna put that off then?
Yes,
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, so.
Sorry, Chuck.
that's all right.
So is the public in on this? Where are you, Lindsay? Or
We're gonna finish with the other,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
public,
any public looking for
any
this one.
public hearing this right this second, or is this just?
We're live for
We're live,
everyone.
so- All right, so I guess I guess we should make an announcement that case Z20-059 387-391 First Street will be carried till next Thursday, March 11th, with the preservation of notices. Is that good?
March
You said
4th.
March
Say
11th?
again?
Didn't I say March 11th?
Yeah,
March 14th.
Oh, March 4th, I meant.
okay.
No, it's March 11th.
Oh, we're gonna go.
Okay,
on
can
March-
everyone, I'm muting everyone who's not
Okay.
speaking, sorry. There's a lot of echoing. So March 4th is the special meeting, so it cannot be
Okay.
carried to
All right.
that since it was not
Okay.
listed on this agenda as carried, yeah.
Okay, so March 11th, sorry, Chuck.
Okay, March 11th.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, Don, what's your preference? You're muted, Don.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here on Z20-095, 847 through 849 Communipaw, item H on the agenda. We're prepared to proceed.
Great, thank you. And Stephen Joseph, where are you? Or
Did
Nick
he say,
Cerami?
excuse me, did he say H?
I may be looking at an older agenda too. It's marked as H.
Okay, it's the new agenda, it'd be number 10. 847, 849?
Correct, correct.
Okay, just so we're on the same ballpark, and I will be acting chairman tonight, so you know, Mr. McCormick,
Thank you.
okay?
So I'm on 155 Laidlaw. That case is proceeding. You're gonna have to ask Nick about 475.
Oh, there is Nick, how are you?
Right there.
Good evening. Yeah, no, I'm here presenting on Z20-033. It's item 9 on the agenda that I'm looking at, and unfortunately, we'd like to carry this evening to the next available date, which sounds like March 11th.
Okay.
Yes, it would be March 11th.
Very sorry there, sir.
All right, thank you.
And Cynthia, you're good?
I'm just checking with the client if I could have another minute.
Sure.
Maybe if, is she only gonna need a minute, or should we do that 155, the C variance?
That's a good idea, yeah. So
Okay, no, just like, if you want to be, then just raise your hand, we'll know you're ready if you want anything. All right?
Thank you.
Is that okay, Lindsay and Vinnie?
Sure.
We
That's a
got
C
one that we can
variance.
get rid of? we got one that we could do and get it out of the way, or is there any other ones before that we have to check with lawyers?
It's
That was
just,
it.
we'll start with the C variance. If everyone on that team is ready, I'm gonna switch everyone back over to attendee just so we have less faces on the screen.
Okay,
But I'll switch you back.
do you want to just make the announcement about any public that were here for any of those other cases? That, I don't know who's in the public, any public in there?
Yep. So the only cases we're proceeding with tonight are. Give me one
Hey,
second.
so I'm looking at who's here. And it's, oh, shit.
We're only proceeding with
847, 849 Communipaw, which is case Z 20-095. We're proceeding with Z 20-015, which is the C variance, 155 Laidlaw. We're going to do that one first. Hopefully it's the quick case. And then we're doing Z 20-084, which is the A appeal with Cynthia Hygienist, hopefully. She's.
Oh, yeah, we're waiting on her decision, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's start off with the case Z 20-015, please.
Is he here, Mr. Joseph? Where are you?
Raul's here. Yeah, we're ready to go if you guys are.
Sure, so just so everybody's clear on what we're doing case Z 20-015. The address is 155 Laidlaw Avenue. The applicant is Hudson Home Builder LLC. And it's for a construction of a 3-story, 2-unit structure on an undersized lot. C variances only for a combined front yard and rear yard setback and rear yard minimum setback. So, Mr. Joseph, just so we're clear, we have reviewed your notices, your affidavit, your proof of service, your notice of publication. Bridget, as soon as I finish talking, is gonna mark that as A1. And also, I just want to make sure, Mr. Joseph, because we're doing this by Zoom, you agree to have your witnesses sworn in electronically.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So Bridget, mark the notices and then we're ready to go.
Okay, so this will be A1 for Z 20-015. Let me just put my.
Just a confirmation, he is aware of six commissioners.
Yes.
Okay,
This
thank
is
you.
the C variant, so he's okay. He
Well,
just-
I mean, yeah, just making,
Mhm.
Okay. Stephen Joseph of the Trombley Law Firm for the applicant. This is 155 Laidlaw. It's between Summit and Central. The lot's undersized. It's only 25 by 49 and a half, or 1,237 square feet. The applicant is proposing a new 3-story, 2-family home. Because of the hardship of it being undersized, the applicant needs several variances. There is a height variance in feet, not in stories. It's 3 stories, 30 feet is what's permitted. We're proposing 3 stories, 34 feet. Rear yard setback, front yard setback. Raul is sharing his screen. He's our architect this evening. We'll get him sworn in and we'll just go through the plans.
okay,
Okay, and Raul, I can't see you. Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn and say something so you pop up on the screen?
I'm here.
There you go. Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state and spell your full name for the record.
Raul Cabato, RAUL CABATO.
Thank you.
okay, Raul, we still recognize you as, you're still standing, right?
Yes, sir. My license is current.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the proposed project is a 2-family dwelling to be located in an R1 zone. The existing lot is 25 feet wide by 49.5 feet deep. We are proposing to demolish the existing 2-story, 1-family structure and construct a new 2-family residence, 3 stories in height, with a total gross floor area of approximately 2,905 square feet. The existing cellar shall be retained. We are also proposing landscaping in the front as well as the rear, and we are also proposing a street tree. We are requesting variances for the rear yard where a minimum of 20 feet is required. We are proposing 10 feet, the front yard, and the height where 30 feet is permitted, we are proposing 34 feet. Note that we are proposing minimum ceiling heights of 9 feet for the units. The 34-foot building height includes the height of the pre-existing cellar, whose ceiling is almost 2 feet above the finished grade. As far as the units, the first unit shall have 3 levels consisting of the cellar, where there shall be a recreation room as well as a half bath. Most of the first floor, where there shall be 1 bedroom, a bathroom, kitchen, dining, living area, and a second bedroom. And a bedroom. The second bedroom shall be located on the 3rd level at the rear, right back here. So the first unit consists of 3 levels. The second unit consists of the second floor. It has 2 levels and shall consist of the second floor, where there shall be a kitchen and living room, and the entire 3rd floor, where there will be 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There shall be a roof deck, and the second unit will have exclusive access to the roof deck. The unit has a total area of over 1,360 square feet. The entire front facade, rear facade, and south facade, or the left side, shall be clad in fiber cement siding. Material samples can be found on sheet A-7. The north or the right side facade shall be clad in fire-rated cement board as it abuts the neighbor's structure, which is right up here. That concludes my presentation.
Right, thank you, Joe. Raul, thank you.
So Raul's our only witness this evening. The only other point I'd like to make is that the Historic Preservation Officer, in a memo dated November 1st, 2020, with the number of DS 20-087, determined that this structure is not historically significant enough to prevent its demolition. That was submitted, and it's on the portal online. So the building is able to be demolished. And it's a relatively simple project. That concludes our direct testimony.
All right, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Any questions from the staff or any questions from the commissioners on this application? I guess not. Is there any public, Lindsay?
All right, I see one hand raised. So I'm going to unmute you. I think typically we keep time for 3 minutes for public comment per person. So who will be keeping time?
Mr. Ahmed?
Our resident timekeeper. So there's one hand raised. I'm going to unmute the name Preservation TV. So you will be able to unmute yourself. And could you please state and spell your full name and provide your address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is John Gomez, John Gomez, and I live at 125 Van Horn Street, apartment 3, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Mr. Gomez, are you able to put your video on or no?
I'll try. Hold on 1 second, okay? I guess I have to go into the settings. Can somebody tell me where to go?
That's okay. Do you affirm that you will consider your testimony as under oath tonight and that you are who you just stated you are?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You can hear me though, clearly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I know this building was deemed by the Historic Preservation Office as not historically or architecturally significant. And that might be because it has aluminum siding on it, or a siding that makes it, or covers up the integrity of the original structure. I guess I'm speaking out against this because I see this all the time in Jersey City now, especially in the Heights, where 19th century buildings, early 20th century buildings are being replaced with new construction. And I'd like to know what the reasoning is to demolish the building. If it's intact, has its original form, why is it deemed to be not worthy of preservation? So that's my question for the board, I guess.
Well, just to answer that, this town's historic preservation specialist has issued a memo
Okay,
saying that it's on the portal. It just
Okay.
says, in its current condition, the building does not appear to meet enough criteria for historic, architectural, or cultural significance.
and do they describe what that current condition is?
No.
I think is Maggie available? I mean, I think I saw her on there on the.
I'm here. I can jump in if you guys think it's appropriate too.
Yeah,
I
you've
think
been
it
sworn in at the beginning of this, right, Maggie?
Yes, I
No,
was.
Okay, so if you want to answer that
Sure.
question, that would be great.
So without having the memo in front of me, but looking at the building, it's clear that the building retains integrity of location and at least a little bit of design. Like you said, it does appear to have some of its original form, but it has been altered. There does not appear to be significance of materials or workmanship. You can make an argument that there is integrity of feeling, things like that. So it just didn't rise to the level of a denial in this case.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gomez. Thank
Sure.
you, Maggie.
Any
All
other
right.
public, Lindsay?
Yep, I see one other hand raised. Just give me one moment. Okay, this account name is called Verizon Zoom account, so I am unmuting you. Please state and spell your full name and provide your address for the record, please.
It's on mute, whoever is on Verizon Zoom.
Hello, my name is Zeenat Insaf. My address is 65 Prospect Street, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Could you state and spell your full name?
Zeenat, Zeenat as in Tom, Insaf, Insaf as in Frank.
Great. And Ms. Asaf, do you verify that you are who you just stated you are and that you will consider your testimony as if it was under oath?
Yes.
Thank you.
I just had a question. Is there precedent for the variance that is being requested on this street? So so the setback is supposed to be 20 feet, and we're pushing into that setback, by 10 feet. Are any of the neighboring buildings also doing that? And has there been any concerns from the neighbors about their open space or sky space being encroached upon?
Mr. Joseph, you would like to answer that?
Sure. So we haven't heard from any of the neighbors about any concerns here. I can tell you this is a strange lot. The lot directly behind this lot is 164 feet deep. So for whatever reason, when these lots got cut up between Beacon and Laidlaw, the lines were subdivided in a strange way where they didn't make conforming 25 by 100 lots. So yes, we're encroaching into the rear yard. The properties to either side of this property are of the same depth, and the property behind us is 164 feet deep, and that requires more than a 20-foot rear yard for that property because they're over 100 feet deep. So we don't believe there's any impact to adjacent properties, and we certainly haven't heard from anybody.
So the new building, the back of the new building will be in line with the adjacent buildings?
Raul, can you maybe share the plans and show the setback, maybe specifically as it relates to adjacent buildings?
So here we go. I think this gives you a better idea right here, the aerial photograph. There you go. So this is our site right here. Like Stephen said, there was no mention of any, issues about the setback. What was the question again?
How does our property, the new construction, relate to the existing buildings on surrounding it?
Well, it certainly does have a smaller rear yard, but I think because the opposite lots have bigger rear yards, let's say, and we know they can't really build up to to their property line. I think that sort of what they refer to as the donut is still sort of preserved, where you have natural light and air in this sort of middle area over here. I think for one thing, the rear yard for the longer lots, it's going to be bigger than the typical 35 or 20 foot, and that's a zoning requirement, right? So our rear yard combined with the neighbors, I think.
And let me ask another question, Raul. If we were to comply with the rear yard requirement, which combines front and rear yard, we need 35 feet, minimum 20 feet in the rear. That would mean we would need to subtract so the dimensions of the building, which is 35 minus the depth 49. If you could just tell us what a conforming building envelope would look like.
It would be 14 feet deep, 14 and a half feet deep. So it would be 20 feet from the property line and 14 feet, where a typical sort of a Jersey City and a typical lot would be 65 feet.
Great. I'm not sure if that answers public's question. Happy to clarify some.
Ma'am, was that understandable? Did you understand that? Was it clear enough for you?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just wondering about the precedent being set of encroachment on the space that is sort of required at the back. But in this case, if there is space all around, and so it looks like the adjacent building actually sticks out further than the existing building on this site being considered. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Unique lots. Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes the public, Lindsay?
No, there's one more. Just give me 1 second. Okay, someone named Andrea has their hand raised, so I'm going to unmute you. Please state and spell your full name and provide your address for the record, please.
Hi there. The name is Andrea Whittington. That's Andrea. The last name is Whittington, Whittington. And the address is 49 Astor Place.
And Ms. Whittington, do you verify that you are who you just stated you are, and you will consider your testimony as if it was under oath this evening?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Hi, so I just have a couple of questions about this development. So from the pictures, it appears that one side has an adjoining wall with the property, and that the other side there's actually space between the two houses. So you said that the neighbors were informed. I guess I'm just curious how the neighbors were informed. I have some familiarity with living in a row house. There's a lot of construction going on in my particular neighborhood. So that was a little vague to me. So kind of what does that mean? And also, were the neighbors given some idea on each side of the total relative time for your development and how their quality of life will be impacted?
Sure. So the municipal land use law, which is the state statute that governs these sorts of applications, requires notice by certified mail to everybody within 200 feet. If you were within 200 feet of this property, you would have gotten a notice that details the application, what's being proposed, what variances are being sought, and the hearing date and time. That's on the portal on the city website. It's also published in the Jersey Journal, all at least 10 days prior to this hearing. We've complied with those requirements.
So that means that those folks actually got letters stating that this was being done by certified mail?
They got a letter saying that this was being proposed and that formal action would be taken this evening. Because it hasn't been approved yet, so this is not a construction related type of notice, right? You will get an additional notice if you're adjacent to the property and you're attaching to the wall with construction code requirements. That's different than this board.
Okay, that's cool. You know, I'm just trying to better understand. I'm living in a row house myself, and I can tell you that there's lots of construction going on, and there's been no notices of that nature. So I'm just trying to have more clarity just on behalf of the people who are potentially maybe going to be living next to this. So that was sort of my question. So there's the good neighbor thing, and then I guess there's the legal aspect of it. So I'm just trying to figure that out. So I guess you answered my question.
All right, thank you very much. Lindsay, I guess anybody else from the public?
I don't see any other hands raised.
All right, I'd like to close the public portion of the case. Let's hear from staff if we can.
Sure, I'm going to share my screen real quick to run through the staff report. All right, can you all see my screen?
It's coming up. Yep, there we go.
So this is the staff report. It has been uploaded to the data portal, so it's been available. And I did send this report to Mr. Joseph, so he has seen the proposed conditions of approval at the end. But just to cover real quick, so I think a lot of this has been covered in testimony in terms of the fact that this is a very undersized lot, and it's in a bit of a unique block in that the abutting rear yard property has basically 1.5 times the required depth of the R1, whereas we're at about half of what the R1 requires on this property. And looking at the variances, so we're looking at the rear yard minimum setback, which is a 20-foot minimum with 10 proposed. And in conjunction with that is a variance for the combined rear yard and front yard, whereas 35 feet are required combined in the R1, and we have a 13.33 foot proposed condition. And then in addition to that is the building height, whereas 30 feet is permitted in the R1 for this particular structure with the floor to ceiling heights of 9 feet, and 31.17 feet of height is proposed in this condition because it classifies as a cellar at the bottom of the property. We actually measure the building height from where the first floor threshold starts. So that cellar is not included in the total building height. So just to talk about staff comments and positive and negative criteria here, both the rear yard and the combined front and rear yard variances really respond to the hardship of the undersized lot. And so basically the way we back into this is that we require properties to meet the predominant front yard setback in the R1. So meaning the front yard setback is somewhat predetermined when you have existing building stock on the adjacent properties. So in meeting that, that kind of sets the envelope for what happens at the front of the property and what is attainable then at the rear of the property where we are undersized here. And I do believe within this proposal that the deficit of the 10 feet in that minimum is a rational deficit in correspondence to how undersized the lot is in over 50 feet of being undersized. Being able to get halfway there seems reasonable on a lot that's half the depth of what we would normally seek. And in addition to that, we feel that this shows a genuine attempt to meet the intent of the setback requirement to provide light and air to the rear yard and the abutting rear yard of the adjacent properties. In terms of negative criteria, this meets the intent and purpose of the R1 in that it is restoring in this proposal a conforming lot coverage to the lot. So the existing condition is 100% impervious lot coverage, and that we are actually going to be conforming with the proposal before the board tonight. And so that really improves a lot of the existing condition, and I would say the benefits outweigh the detriments in the variance of the rear yard, in that we are still actually greening the property significantly from what exists. In terms of the building height, like I said, we're at about a 1.17 foot height variance here from what is approved, but I would like to note that the R1 is a little bit tricky in the height requirements. And so we are well within the R1 overall height maximums here. So the highest a flat roof building is allowed to fall in the R1 is 39 feet, and 44 feet is permitted if you have a peaked roof. We do have a flat roof condition here, and we are at about 31.17 feet. So we are still well within the intent of the zone on the proposal. And I really don't believe that there's any detriment to the intent of the zone or the overall height limitations that are set in granting the variance. So with that, staff is satisfied that negative criteria is met, and we have proposed our standard conditions of approval tonight. I have shared those with Mr. Joseph, as I said, so I'd just like him to confirm that he's seen and reviewed those.
Yes, I've seen them. The applicant accepts them. The only clarification I want to make, only because I've been having some trouble lately with the street trees coordination between forestry and engineering. If for whatever reason city engineering doesn't allow us to put a street tree here because there's not enough sidewalk width, the applicant will make a payment in lieu. But we intend to put the tree there when they go through permits. If for whatever reason that gets kicked back, we'll do a payment in lieu.
Okay, great. So with that, staff recommends approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
All right, thank you, Malavi. Anybody on the, any commissioners have any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, would like somebody make a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve with staff conditions.
Second.
Who seconded that?
I
think it was
believe
a-
that was
a-
Commissioner Green. Okay, on the motion to approve with conditions, Commissioner Nutchert,
Yes.
Commissioner Arujo? You're on mute, Commissioner.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakta,
Yes.
Commissioner Shadid,
Yes.
and Acting Chair McCormick.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, all in favor with conditions.
Thank you, Mr.
Wonderful.
Joseph.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good night.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for having this special meeting.
Okay,
Okay, so I believe now we're going back to, would it be Z20-095?
correct.
Yeah, we have everybody promoted. Oh, do we want to check with Cynthia to make sure what her decision was?
Yeah, I'm switching her over now.
All right, yeah.
Sorry, we're doing the Communipol next.
We're gonna be doing a communal, but we're gonna see what Cynthia's decision was.
Cynthia is muted if you want to ask her a question. There she is.
Yeah, so we figured it out, and I think we'd prefer to postpone to the next meeting that's available.
So that would be again, March 11th. Is that right, Lindsay?
Yep, that and about 20 others.
Okay,
Okay.
So that will be KZ 20-084. That will be carried to the March 11th at this point.
Okay. Thanks
Yes.
very much.
yes, we'll
Thank you,
preserve your
Cynthia.
notices. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so anybody that's here in the public that was waiting for Z20-084, 500 Communiport Avenue, We will not be hearing that case. It will be carried until the March 11th meeting.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but I know there's a lot of cases carried the past couple meetings, so you can always call city planning or email the general city planning email that is on all of our agendas if you want updates on a weekly basis about what's going forward and what's not. Just so everyone on the call is aware, you can keep up to date by contacting city planning directly. Thank you.
Okay, so we're ready with Mr. Pepe.
Mr. Pepe looks ready. So Mr. Pepe, we've looked at your notices, your affidavit and your notice of publication. So as soon as I finish talking, Bridget, we're gonna mark that as A1 for this application. And also, Mr. Pepe, since this is being taken by Zoom, you agree to have your witnesses sworn in via Zoom.
I do. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Opagio.
Okay, and so this will be A1 for Z2095.
Great.
Good evening, Chairman McCormick and Commissioners. Thank you for your time this evening. And thank you for the acknowledgement of jurisdiction. My name is Donald Pepe. I'm with the law firm of Scarinci Hollenbeck, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Devi Ma Communipal, LLC. The owner of the property is actually Raj Gupta and the Gupta family. Several of you may recognize the name. They've been lifelong members of the community, and in particular on the west side. I think that's significant here because, we've had many discussions amongst ourselves, and they've always characterized this project as something of a vision for a gateway to Jersey City. Obviously, a lot of people coming into Jersey City off of the Turnpike and 1 and 9. This is one of their first intros to the community. Right now, it's an existing active used car lot. And, we are proposing to develop a 5-story over parking multifamily residential building. We've had extensive communications back and forth over the course of a better part of a year with planning staff. We've participated in 2 community meetings. First one back in October of last year, and most recently on February 4th. We've also shared our plans and worked closely with Councilman Prince Array with respect to the community's concerns. And we've actually made several changes to the plans as we went along with different iterations to address some of those concerns. We are in the community automotive zone. Therefore, in order to do the residential project as proposed, we do need a use variance. We are also seeking a height variance because we are exceeding what would otherwise be the permissible height for that zone, which, because it is an automotive zone, the height limit is fairly low. I'd also like to point out that this is a relatively transit-rich community. Several bus lines serve it. It's within walking distance of the light rail. So, we hope that you'll see this as particularly suitable for this type of use. I have 3 witnesses this evening, one of whom we may not need, but I'm not going to present them in my principal case, but I have them available. So I have Mr. Lewis, who is our architect. I have Sam Bellamy. I don't know if I saw him promoted up. He is my planner. And I have Lee Klein, who is my traffic consultant. Oh, Sam, I do see you, sorry. So with that, I think we'll just get right into the presentation.
Okay.
And do you swear or
Bridget,
affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you can state and spell your name for the record.
Yes, it's Jeffrey Lewis, Jeffrey-Lewis.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, my license in New Jersey is active and in good standing.
Thank you. We recognize you. You continue now, please.
Thanks. Okay, so let me start up with my screen sharing. And we're talking about 847, 849 Communipal Avenue. We're located near Lincoln Park, but we're on the south side of Communipal Avenue, right between Mallory and West End Ave. As was mentioned, it's currently used as a used car lot, and we're proposing a new 6-story residential building with 12 parking spaces on the ground floor and 35 apartments. And just to give a breakdown of those apartments, 5 of them are 2 bedrooms that are going to average 925 square feet. 20 of them are 1 bedrooms that average 629 square feet. And then we have 10 studios, which average 440 square feet. What I'm showing on the screen right now is sheet C120. It's our site plans. Looking to the left here, we have Communipol at the top. We are proposing new curbs. Right now, there's a little bit of curb, and about 90% of the front of our property is a curb cut. So what we're proposing is a new curb. We'll have one 10-foot curb cut towards the center of the property, and then the rest of the property will be full height new curb. We're also providing new sidewalk, and we're also providing 2 new street trees on the property, as you can see. And then we've also agreed to plant 2 more street trees. We obviously don't have room for them on our property. We're working with city planning to find an appropriate home for them. Hopefully somewhere on Communipol Ave, but that's not going to be up to us, but we're going to try to get them in the local community. So 4 total street trees will be planted. And then looking on the right here, the one thing I want to show is we are providing stormwater detention on the site. This is located below the driveway, which you'll see when we get to our floor plans. The system it's a 15-foot by 7-foot by 4-foot concrete storage module that's buried beneath the driveway, and it's designed to hold 460 cubic feet of water. Okay, so now I'm going to go down 2 sheets and just briefly, just on our lighting plan, I just want to show briefly that we are providing 6 lighting fixtures on our building facade that will illuminate the sidewalk. And then I'm going to skip through all these details and get to our first floor plan.
Jeff, while you're flipping, the detention would not ordinarily be required for a lot of this size, but we're providing it as a positive benefit.
That's correct. For this building, because the whole lot is covered with asphalt right now, we're not making the situation any worse. We would not be required to provide any stormwater detention. So what we're providing is pretty big. It's larger than any of the calculated loads, which we are showing on the sheet that I had skipped by. It's about, I think the maximum requirement was in the 100s. So we're providing way in excess of what would be required of the site.
Thank you.
Okay, so now back to the first floor plan. Just to orientate everyone, Communipol Avenue is on the right. So this is the front of the building. I'll start at the top. We have our main building entry. It's a large entry lobby with access to the main stair, the elevator, and a mailroom, and then a door to the garage. And the garage, of course, is also accessed from the garage door at the front of the property, then we have a drive aisle. And in the garage, we have, first we have bicycle storage for 18 bicycles. On the top here, we have 9 head-in parking spaces, one of which is a handicap space. And then we have 3 total parallel spaces, 2 in the back, and then 1 over here closer to the front. Also located in the garage is a trash storage room. We have a trash chute from above, which is going to bring all the trash directly to this room. And then we have a trash compactor in this room. We have a second stair. The stair does have 2 staircases, and both stairs have direct access to the exterior. This is a sprinkler room because the building is also fully sprinklered. And then in the front, the last room we have is a gas and electric meter room.
Jeffrey, while you're switching pages, you participated in several of the community meetings. Am I correct that a lot of the community members' comments were focused on providing parking?
Parking was definitely an issue at the meetings. That's correct. That came up. Okay, so this is the second floor plan. It's just actually a typical apartment layout for floors 2 through 5. It's 7 units per floor. And all of these units are handicap adaptable. They all have Energy Star appliances, and they all include a washer dryer in the unit. And then the front unit, just to a few minor differences, the front unit is our 2-bedroom unit on every floor. And this unit, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit, and we're including ducted heat and air conditioning for this unit. And we did that because another comment that we got was people didn't like the grills on the front of the building. So we eliminated all PTEC grills on the front of the building. So there'll be no grills on the front of this building. In the back, we have 6 additional units. 4 of them are 1-bedrooms, 2 of them are studios, and these units do have PTECs. And then you can see down here by the second stair is that trash chute that I discussed earlier. So all the other floor plans are exactly the same. And then this is our roof plan. On the roof, we have a 1,600 square foot roof deck. It's accessed by both stairs and the elevator, and which has a small elevator lobby. We made sure that this roof deck was centrally located on the building. So we're set back about 15 feet from the front property line, and then it's more than 60 feet from the rear property line. To provide some
A little
buffers
more than what?
60 feet from the rear property line. Okay, so centrally located, and also we have a 424 square foot area, which is a green roof area. Moving on to the building elevation. So we have two primary finishes on the elevation here. I'm going to start down at the bottom, at the base. So we have one finish is our fiber cement panels, which are light gray fiber cement panels. Then the second finish we have our brick, is a brick finish. Here the brick is a dark iron spot gray brick with a smooth finish. And it's here at the bottom. It actually comes around the side, the right side, all the way up the building, across the top, bordering the entire, framing this entire rest of the building. And then actually this wraps around, I'll show on the side elevation, there's an 8-foot return. It wraps all the way around the side, down the side, and then so it comes back around to wrap right around to where it started again. Also in this area, all of the storefront windows, storefront doors, and the regular windows above are all black aluminum finish. The garage door itself is a black groove metal door, which is 9 foot by 8 foot 2. And then let me get onto this second area, which is finished. And this is the main area of the building. It has this kind of checkerboard modern finish on the upper floors. The two materials here are the same as below, but just different finishes. We have a light gray hardy panel siding, and then a brick, but this is a red iron brick, also with a smooth finish. And these windows also are black frame windows. And then lastly, looking at the very top, this is our stair tower beyond and elevator penthouse beyond. These are finished with hardy panel, fiber cement siding that's a dark gray color. And then we have this 12-inch border around it, which provides an overhang as well. And this is made out of the fiber cement panels as below, but these are actually black fiber cement panels. Looking at the side elevation, you can see on the right here, this is that brick return. So that it's an 8-foot return. It comes all the way down here, and then it would wrap right around the front.
Yeah.
The rest of the building on the side here, the base is a medium gray split face block. And then above that, we have dark gray fiber cement siding. And another one of the hardy panel accent, we have that also coming across the bottom here and then up this second stair tower and accenting the top of this stair tower as well. And then lastly, all the windows and the windows are black aluminum, as is same as the front. And the P-TAC grills are also that same black aluminum color. So the other side elevation, the finishes are actually all the same. And the rear elevation, same finishes. Small exceptions, we do have these borders on the side, similar to what I was showing up at top. These are actually dark gray as opposed to black. And then we also have a 36-inch cornice out in the back. These are both the framing on the sides and the cornice here are both framed with finished with hardy panel accent siding. And those are both dark gray. Sorry, I stumbled a little bit there. That's actually the end of the architectural presentation. I can move on to Sam and let him do his and then take questions at the end, I guess.
Yes, that's Mr. Lewis will hold all questions to the end, okay?
Yeah, Sam,
Sounds great, thank you.
Jeff, before we jump off of you, I just want to ask you a couple of follow-up questions just for clarity.
Of course.
So the studios are at 440, the 1 bedroom's at 629, the 2 bedrooms are at 929. In your opinion, is that a average type of unit size for the stock that's currently being introduced in Jersey City?
I'd argue the 2 bedrooms are a little bigger than average, but close to average. The others are probably right around average.
Okay. You had mentioned it with respect to the positive criteria, the detention system, the green roof, the street trees. We are also proposing, are we not, 3 affordable units?
We are proposing 3 affordable units in the building. That's correct.
And then
And
just
we aren't, I don't believe we're required any.
correct. And then just to top that off, I mean, this is a modern ADA, completely ADA accessible, elevator served building and sprinkler.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I have no additional questions.
You have a next witness, Mr. Pepe?
Yeah, so I think, so listen, I was going to hold off, but I have, I have Mr. Klein here this evening, and one of the issues that were raised in the planning report that received some planning drew attention to the potential impacts of traffic. And I can tell you what the conclusions of the report were, and if you want to hear Mr. Klein state it directly, I'd be glad to promote him. But we did do a traffic study, and it did determine that the trip generation that would result from this project, if approved, would be less than the trip generation from the current use.
Well, this is your case, so whatever you feel comfortable with doing, we're welcome to.
Reports in the record. If the board has any questions regarding that, I would, Mr. Klein is here to answer them.
Okay, so let's go on to your next witness, and then if there's any questions about the engineer, traffic studies or whatever, we can discuss that with all at the same time.
Thank you. And with that, I'd like to turn to Mr. Bellamy.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And could you state and spell your full name?
Yes, it's Samuel, Samuel, Bellamy, Bellamy.
Thank you.
Mr. Bellamy, you're going to be an old timer, but is this case, your credentials still in order, please?
Yes, my license is still active and in good standing.
All right, we
Sorry, I'm
recognize you.
having a little trouble hearing you. You sound a little muffled. Either move closer to your microphone or do something.
Is that my license is current and in good standing? Is that better?
A little.
All right, we acknowledge your, we recognize you. Continue, please, and just be clear and speak up a little so that Bridget can hear you, babe.
Will do. So as mentioned, this project is requesting a use variance. We're proposing a mid-rise multifamily building where commercial automotive uses are permitted. We're also requesting a height variance. We're proposing 6 stories and 67 feet where 30 feet is permitted. And there are some associated bulk variances that are requested with this application that are subsumed within that use variance. So getting into that use variance, I do believe that this property is particularly well suited for the proposed multifamily use. With that, I would like to share an exhibit. I believe we will have to mark this in. Do that. And are we able to see my screen?
Yes.
Don, what do we have to mark this in as? Or
So this would be A2. And why don't you describe what it is?
so this is a site location map dated February 25th, 2021, prepared by Jesner Robin. And what we want to show with this is orientate the board to the property and also show the connection to surrounding means of public transportation. So speaking towards that particular suitability, this property does have excellent access to NJ Transit bus lines that run along Communipaw Avenue, West Side Avenue, and also Bergen Avenue. And also the property is within a half mile from the West Side Avenue light rail station. And there is a city bike location approximately halfway on the walk to the West Side Avenue light rail station. So all these means of transportation really speak to the density that we're proposing and supports that. The property is also located nearby to a neighborhood commercial district that runs along West Side Avenue. So that is along this street. And then also located a block south of the Lincoln Park, which has access to public recreation and open space. So all those aspects, the location to neighborhood goods and services, kind of add to that particular suitability. This site is undersized for conforming use in the CA zone where a minimum lot size of 10,000 square feet is required. At the same time, this project is, the property is appropriately sized for the proposed mid-rise multifamily use at 6,380 square feet. Going on that, we are proposing a density that is consistent with the bulk that we're proposing for a 6-story, 5 residential floors over one story of parking. In terms of the height variances, the subject property can accommodate the problems associated with the increase of height. It is located on Communipaw Avenue, which does have a 70-foot right-of-way width. That is larger. It's a major thoroughfare east-west in Jersey City. And also due to the orientation of the block and the lot, we did do a shadow study and we found that the shadows predominantly fall onto the right-of-way. There's minimal impact to the residential properties that run along the rear. So really our shadows cast going west onto the other commercial automotive properties and then onto the right-of-way throughout the day. So really, I don't think there will be any impact to light, air, and open space on those adjacent properties. And in addition, the proposed height is consistent with multifamily buildings on this size lot. With respect to the bulk variances, I do believe they are subsumed within the use variances, but they can also be granted pursuant to the C2 criteria, where the benefits of the proposed project would outweigh any detriments. The minimum rear yard setback requirement is 5 feet. We are proposing 0 feet on the ground floor, and that's to provide for a full parking layout that's enclosed. Above that, we are proposing a 5-foot conforming step back for the residential floors. So that 5-foot step back is met on those upper floors. In addition, the 12-foot ground floor building is consistent with what's currently there. There's a trailer in the rear of the property that rises 15 feet. So we are consistent and we aren't providing any substantial detriment on that rear property with that setback. In addition, the properties to the rear are one and family homes. They do provide a substantial rear yard setback from our property. And in addition, they are 110-foot deep lots, which are deeper than the typical R1 lot, which is 100 feet. So given that the setback and the larger lot size to the rear, there is a substantial separation between the buildings, further allowing for light, air, and open space. With respect to the lot coverage, we are proposing 100% on the ground floor. Again, that is tied into that rear yard setback variances and the full parking layout on the ground floor. Above the ground floor, we are stepping back the building in the rear, and we also are providing for window wells on the side. In addition, this project does recognize that with the lot coverage variances, there are impacts to stormwater management. We are proposing, as mentioned, the stormwater detention system and the green roof. And really, this is a better solution to what currently exists on the property. It's 100% impervious lot coverage, and the sheet runoff basically runs into Communipaw Avenue. So with that, we actually are improving the conditions on the property. And finally, in respect to the building coverage, again, 100% on the ground floor. Above that, we are proposing a compliant 87%, where 90% is permitted. So we are reducing our footprint, providing for window wells on the side and stepping back at the rear to allow for additional light, air, and open space on those properties adjacent to us. Getting into the advancing the purposes of the municipal land use law, I do believe this advances purpose A. It's a provision of appropriate residential building that will improve the general welfare. I do believe that those the proximity to public transportation, the access to community services, and then Lincoln Park being just across the street, all speak to an increased density in this area. So that promotes purpose E. In addition, this site is appropriately sized for a mid-rise multifamily building. So it provides for a residential building that's consistent with purpose G. And we are improving the visual environment by developing this, it's a vacant lot pretty much that's being used as a used auto car sales lot. So we are, and that's consistent with purpose I. And finally, the stormwater detention system, green roof, that promotes the conservation of natural resources consistent with Purpose J. Getting into the negative criteria, I do not believe there will be any substantial detriment to the general welfare. The proposed project will significantly improve the property, removing the existing car sales lot and replacing with an appropriate residential building. The property is particularly well suited for this use and is also consistent with the larger residential surrounding area around this property to the north and south. The proposed project will diversify the Jersey City housing stock. We're providing for a mix of studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms that will be at an attainable price point. They are also appropriately sized. In addition, this will be an ADA accessible elevator building, a newer housing stock in this area where some of the older housing might not have the ability to be ADA accessible. So I do think that's another positive of this project. In addition, the affordable component is an additional positive for the community. And then as mentioned, we are providing 2 street trees where none exist. And we are contributing to the fund to provide for additional trees somewhere in Jersey City. As stated, I don't think there's any detriment to light, air, or open space. And then as mentioned, the project will be generating less vehicle trips than the current use. In addition to that, the residents using the parking area will be familiar with the circulation. And that's in comparison to now where the used car sales lot, you might have visitors who aren't as familiar with the area and pulling in and out of the property. So I do think there will not be any substantial detriment to the general welfare regarding traffic. In addition, there's no substantial detriment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan. The purpose of the CA district includes to upgrade the appearance and function of Communipal Avenue. I do think we are doing that with this project. We are developing the lot in a main gateway into Jersey City. The master plan does recognize that the CA district along Communipal Avenue presents unique planning challenges due to the well-entrenched and undesirable automobile uses. So this is really an existing area that's been developed as commercial automotive uses for a long time now, and we're at the forefront of development and moving forward in this area. Furthermore, the master plan does recognize that this is a major east-west thoroughfare and a gateway into the city, and that the current automobile uses are a nuisance on the surrounding properties and proposed are a detriment to the area. With that, I do think that the proposed project will provide for new residential density in the area and improve the gateway into Jersey City, and will provide for that variety of housing consistent with the master plan objectives. It is an appropriate size lot for this use. So I don't think there will be any detriment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. So in conclusion, I think that the current trends with used car sales going to online and app platforms, you'll see some of these uses start to fade away. The proposed project is at the forefront of development along this section of Communipal Avenue and has a chance to really transform and significantly improve the area, creating that attractive gateway into the city. I think that concludes my direct testimony, but I would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I think we're going to hold off on the questions right now, Mr. Bellamy.
Okay.
Mr. Pepe?
Well, other than a summation at the end, I believe that completes my presentation.
All right, so I'll ask any of the commissioners if they have any questions on what they heard this evening, or if they have any questions that they might want to refer to with the traffic engineering by any chance. So any commissioners, you're open for any public statements or questions?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kent?
On the parking issue with 35 apartments and 11, what was it, spaces? What did the public feel about that when you had your public meetings? Even though it's a transit-rich development, how did they respond to that in your public meetings?
Really, their response was consistent with every public meeting that I've ever participated in. There are a number of people who find that that was sufficient or excess parking. And then there are a number of people who would insist on a one-to-one ratio. In my experience, Jersey City planning is moving away from 1-to-1 ratios or requiring any ratios. And in fact, the philosophy is that if you invite cars, you get cars, and that increases traffic. So I don't think I could really put my thumb on universal sentiment. It went both ways. But overall, in a general sense, I was asked for parking as much as I could provide, and this is as much as I could provide on the ground floor, given the parameters of the property.
Second question. I saw garbage chutes and an area for that, but how would you handle the dual stream recycling that Jersey City does?
Well, I can, maybe ask Mr. Lewis to jump back in. Jeff, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we would collect the refuse on site in bins and bring it to the curb for pickup.
That's 100% correct. And those bins are actually shown on the drawing in the trash and it's a trash and recycling room. The compactor helps us to keep a lot of trash in that space in a small amount of room because it compacts it to a small size. It'll be in the same room.
Okay, it's all coming down the chute, or you do
No,
recycling in a different way? Okay.
It's the recycling you'll have to bring to the room and put in the correct bin.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I'm familiar with that neighborhood, and I think it's the car wash has been an eyesore to me, and I think this will really kind of make the property value around the area really go higher. And I think it's just a beautiful building, and so it's great. I like it.
No problem.
If I can say that, I'm sort of,
You can.
so I'm learning.
All right. Anybody else on the board that has any direct questions for any of the witnesses or anything to do with the possible traffic? Okay, I don't see anybody. Do we have any public waiting, Lindsay?
I do see one hand raised. Just to reiterate, if you do have a question or a comment, you can click raise hand toward the bottom of your screen, or you can dial *9 if you're calling in. So to start, I see one hand raised, username Livia. So Livia, I'm going to unmute you. Actually, it's not letting me unmute you. I have to promote you to panelist. So just give me 1 second. Okay, you're gonna be switched over. Please state and spell your full name and provide your address for the record, please.
You're muted, Lindsay. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, you just have to hit it again. Sorry.
Okay, there it goes. Okay, because I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, my name is Livia Benetti. And I was just listening to several of the projects, and I think that this is.
Excuse me, just raise your right hand to be sworn.
Oh, okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony or comments you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And could you state and spell your full name and provide your address?
Yes. First name is Livia. It's like Olivia, but without the O. Livia. And last name is Bonetti.
And your address, ma'am?
1775 Kennedy Boulevard, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Can I go?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say hi. I guess thank you for listening to what I have to say tonight. I have to agree with Sonia. I think that it's going to be a much needed improvement for the area. I don't want to state my age, but I'm 44 years old. I'm a lifelong resident. 26, 44 years old, lifelong resident of Jersey City. I definitely have seen lots of changes in Jersey City in the 44 years that I'm here. And Communipaw Avenue is like, it's a main avenue. It's a main, I guess, throughway into Jersey City. You know, a lot of people, they think, Jersey City, and they think just downtown area. You through the Holland Tunnel, you hit the downtown area, and you're like, oh, wow, where am I? You get lost. I know I go down there and I'm lost, and I've been here my whole life. I think that all those improvements, they're great and all, but why not move them up towards these areas, the West Side area, the Boulevard area? It's a lot of people, unfortunately, they see Jersey City as a tale of two cities, and it shouldn't be like that. I think the Jersey City has the potential of being a great city in all areas, in all districts. And I think that this is definitely a great start. I mean, as we can see along West Side, there's a lot of buildings that have gone up. Even West Side, it's unrecognizable at this point. 440 has a lot of improvements, that a lot of construction coming up. So why not just bring the construction also on Communipaw? I mean,
Yeah.
people come off of the turnpike and everything, and they come, first of all, they're at lights that never end. And then when they go up, it's like, where am I? It looks like a jungle. You know, you're almost afraid to go any further past West Side. So it's like, it's scary. But I think if we put up nice buildings like this, I definitely believe that it's going to show great signs of improvement for the area. It will definitely boost the economy for the businesses that are nearby. Again, certain parts of West Side are great. And then you move up and it's like, oh my God, you're afraid to walk around. But I think if we do allow buildings like such as this to go up, I definitely believe that the area will improve. The businesses will boom again. And, you know, more money that the businesses make, more money the city can make. So I think it's a win-win for everybody in this situation. I heard
30-second left.
I heard a lot of people mention, you know, parking. I mean, nowadays, honestly, I have a lot of friends that are in Hoboken. I frequent Hoboken all the time. If anything is congested, look in Hoboken. And
Sylvia, can you please wrap up?
Sorry?
10 seconds. Can you please wrap up? Your time is up.
Just so you know that you had 3 minutes, and I'm sorry if you weren't on when we mentioned that.
Oh,
But
okay.
continue, and we'll let you, you know, have
I
like
was
about
just
another
gonna
minute,
say,
okay?
okay, thank you. I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people are mentioning the parking being an issue. I really don't think so. Like I said, I know a lot of, especially a lot of younger people that we want younger people. A lot of younger people, you know, even older people, a lot of people are moving away from cars. Insurances are too high, gas is too high. A lot of people are relying heavily on Ubers, on public transportation, and we definitely have the capability. I mean, we have the light rail, we have buses, and everybody's utilizing that now. So I really don't think that parking will be an issue, honestly.
Thank you very much, Olivia. And
Thank you so much.
just so you know, I got you beat by a lot of years, but the city, West Side and that Communipaw Avenue stretch, if you follow us, there's a lot more coming up, and there's a lot being done in that area.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
That's great. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the public?
I don't see any other hands raised. Again, you would click raise hand or dial *9. So we could just give it a few seconds. But no, I don't think there's any other public comment.
Okay, I just have a quick statement and go back a little bit to Mr. Pepe, please.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But Mr. Chairman, can we
You know, it
close
wasn't
public? Or
it wasn't anything major. It was just that I wanted to know what some of the differences were. I'm sorry, I forgot doing questioning before. What were some of the major differences that the public had with, you know, the plans originally, besides the parking?
Oh, there were questions about the facade. We were asked to make it a little bit more modern. And we also had some stucco panels down at the ground level, I believe, that people were concerned that wouldn't hold up with respect to appearance over time. Absolutely, the P-tax, we were asked to eliminate them in the front of the building. We were asked to maximize the degree of the amount of parking that we could fit in the ground floor level. And I think that and I think we went from 2 to 3 affordable units in response to the community.
Okay,
feedback.
The only other thing is the 3 affordable units that were going to be. There was like 5 one-rooms. I believe it was 10 two-rooms, and 15 on the other.
Yeah, I have the counts here. They were 10 studios, 21 bedrooms, and 5 two-bedrooms.
All right, so where would those affordable be? Basically the 1 bedrooms?
We had not designated it.
Okay, no problem. I'm sorry. All right, thank you. Maybe since there's no more public, maybe we go to staff, please. Mr. Black, Cameron Black.
Vince, do we normally make a motion to close public, or we just?
We do, but I thought I actually thought we did, but maybe we didn't. Sorry.
Well, I thought we did also, but we make a motion, public portion is closed at this point. Okay, Mr. Pepe?
Yes, no, thank you very much.
All right, sorry about that. I'm
No, that's
out of
quite-
shape. I only act as chairman once in a while.
No, and you're doing an excellent job. Listen, I had a really, really great summation prepared, but then Livia came on and really said everything that I would possibly need to say.
Yeah.
So I think I'll rest with that. I do want to add, though, that we did receive, a staff report with conditions should we be approved, and we are accepting of those conditions. We also received a report from the tax assessor designating the property address as 849, which of course is acceptable. And we received an engineering report dated 2/10/21. We will comply with the conditions in there, but there was one note, item number 6 in the engineering report, that called out the potential need for a franchise agreement. I don't see it. I don't believe it's true. If it's necessary, I'd have to do it. I don't see it, and I don't believe it's required.
Okay.
Shall we hear from staff? Cameron?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Go
Okay,
ahead, Mr.
good.
Black.
I'm using these headphones and sometimes the mics on them don't work. But okay, so firstly, thank you, Mr. Pepe, for agreeing to the staff conditions in the staff memo dated January 27th in the year 2021. And staff is satisfied with the testimony given by the professional planner, Mr. Bellamy. He hit every single one of the notes I had here in my report, and any questions we had were addressed. All of the positive and negative criteria were hit. So what I did here, which were some pleasant game changers in my opinion, were the addition of 2 street trees to be planted off-site. That's another positive criteria to mitigate negative criteria here. So I just want to formalize that as an 8th condition of approval. The 2 additional street trees will be planted off-site and coordinated with city staff on their location for a total of 4 street trees to be planted by the applicant.
That's acceptable. I think that there's a process for contributing to a fund, and whatever the city wants, we will comply.
That's perfectly agreeable. So there was also a 9th condition that planning staff was unaware of, and that is that there will be 3 affordable units in this building, also another positive criteria to mitigate the negative. So that'll be a 9th condition. The 3 affordable units must be recorded and legitimized with the director of the Affordable Housing Department in Jersey City prior to the issue of a certificate of occupancy. And is that acceptable to the applicant?
Yeah, and just clarification, these are workforce affordable housing units.
Okay, we will clarify that in the resolution. So with that, staff believes that this project will not have an adverse effect to the zone plan or negatively affect the public's general welfare, health, and morals and well-being. And with that, staff recommends approval with conditions.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve with staff conditions.
All right,
Second.
Commissioner Araujo.
Can I have a second? Who'd second that?
I did.
Commissioner Shadid seconded that. I don't know if you caught that, Bridget. Okay, great.
Commissioner Araujo.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakta.
Yes, with the conditions.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Netchart.
Yes.
Vice Chair Shadid.
Yes.
And Acting Chair McCormick.
Yes, just like to make a statement. This is going to start to beautify Communipore Avenue. I know we have a lot of projects coming up along Communipore Avenue. from the west side all the way downtown. Like the presenter before, Olivia stated, it makes it look a lot better coming up that highway from Jersey into Jersey City. And looking forward to a lot more beautiful projects to, lighten up this deteriorated neighborhood as it was. And it's also very, getting a little tired, but it's very true about all the proximity to light rail and the buses and all. And Mr. Bellamy, no disrespect, you forgot Kennedy Boulevard and Mallory Avenue for bus services. Thank you, and I vote yes.
All right, motion carries with conditions. All in favor?
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and good luck to everybody.
Look,
Lindsay, I didn't get any resolutions. Did I miss something?
We haven't really heard many cases, so
You're kidding.
I know, it's crazy. So there's no resolutions tonight. Just a friendly reminder that we do have a special meeting next Thursday. We have 5 cases, no additional ones. The agenda is just showing those 5. So if you said you were able to attend, we will see you there. And then we have another regular meeting the following week, which has a lot listed, but obviously we're not going to get to everything. We just have to take it one meeting at a time and get to what we can get to.
I have to get another special meeting.
Maybe, but hopefully not. We'll see. We'll hold off. We won't have it 4 weeks in a row. That'd be a little much.
yeah, thanks, guys.
Now, a motion to close, please.
Second,
Have a motion to adjourn. Second.
third. See you guys.
Good night.
Have a
Bye,
good night.
guys.
Have a
See you
great
next
night.
week. Bye.
And to the new recruits, good job.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. It was
Welcome.
good.
Good job, Rich.
Good job.
Yes, good job, Rich.
Yeah, Rich.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
All right, Chairman.